Say, for example, one organization I have is Proton. If I expand that, I can make subdivisions or add subfolders. Let's say, for example, under Proton, I have blocks A and B. So under block A, I have two floors, floors 1 and 2, and this represents individual networks. Now for the cloud, each network acts like your AP group. So all the access points and switches that belong on this particular network would carry the same setting. So if you're doing like bulk configuration, let's say you have 50 access points, you want them to carry the same settings, same SSID, same passwords. You can just add them on that specific network and they will carry all the settings. So let me go into one of my network. So yeah, on the dashboard, you can immediately see your devices. If you want to navigate through, let's say, your list of access points, you just have to click on the AP side. It will bring you to all the list. So let me go back to the dashboard real quick. So if you scroll down on the middle part, you would see your throughput information. So it gives you a summary of your network traffic. Let's say right now it's unlocked so you can view a weekly view or a monthly view as well. So you can have a summary. And when you hover your mouse over a particular spot, let's say one of the areas shows high traffic, then it will give you specific information, such as, for example, here on the 11th of June, 10:30 a.m., there are 130 unique clients who connected. Their average download and upload speed is about 19 Mbps. So you can get that information from here. And then on the bottom, you have a summary on the top access points, clients, and SSIDs. This is in terms of bandwidth consumption. You would also have a summary of the applications that are commonly used. Like Nancy have mentioned, we have layer 7 awareness unlocked. So you can view this information. So there are about 20 commonly used applications that will be displayed here, such as BitTorrent, Netflix, YouTube, as well as Steam, for example. Now, for the client list, you would see a summary of all your clients that connected to your network. What majority of them are using? Are most of them on Android, Mac OS, iOS, or Windows? So game consoles would be displayed here as well. Let me show you that. I think one of our projects have a few game consoles. Yeah, so let's say, for example, you want to check if somebody in the office or in the campus brought in their game console, so you'd be able to detect that right away from here. In terms of the setup, let's say for access point setup. So here you have a list of all your APs on the particular organization. If you want to narrow down the view, so you can just simply do that on the hierarchy view. So let's say I only want to view the second floor network. So it will narrow down your list to the APs that belong only on the second floor. And then from here, if I want to expand one of the APs, let's say I want to check the channel, I want to check individual details, all you need to do is click on the device and it will pop up that information. On this part, you also have a graph. So if you have interference on this particular AP, it's going to let you know. Let's say, for example, on this part. So at about 11, I think that's about 11 or 12 p.m., it detected that there is a channel conflict with the nearby APs. So it also will advise you on what to do. Like maybe you can check the floor plan view and check the heat map to confirm that you have a conflict between your access points. So on the same screen, you can easily reboot the access point. You can go to details to give you more information. You can also hit replace. So the replace button is very useful. Let's say one of your APs suddenly become unresponsive. Maybe there's a problem with the hardware. It got hit by a power surge or something. So you have to replace the unit. Usually when you do a replacement for a normal access point, you would need to pre-configure the new unit, set it up, set the IP, set the SSIDs and everything, then plug it in to replace the old one. So to what do you call this? To reduce the downtime for the end user, you can just unbox the new AP, register it on your cloud, add it here on your network, and then click replace. So once you hit replace, you select the new access point. Whatever settings you have on the old AP would be ported over to the new one. So it will make the process easier, and it will make your downtime very short. So for the switches, wait, let me go into my switch view. So for the switches, we made the interface very user-friendly. So if I expand one of the switches, you would see right away the information. For example, this AP doesn't have much clients connected to it. Let me go to another one. So this is a 24-port switch with 4 SFPs additional. So I can quickly see from here which are the ports that are being utilized, what's the port speed. So they are all color-coded. So most of the ports here on this switch are running 1000, and the lightning symbol indicates that it's powering up a device via PoE. So I can also see that the SFP ports are utilized. Port 26 right now is my uplink port, meaning this is the one that goes back to your core switch or to your router. And you'd also see if the port is untagged or tagged, if let's say you have VLAN set up. So as I switch over to different VLANs here, you would see that some of the ports are tagged on that particular VLAN, and some of the ports are untagged as well. So you can have that information in a glance, which is pretty great. We also have topology view. Now, if you go to topology view, map out your entire network, so long as you're using EnGenius switches and access point. So here, for example, I want to trace where a particular AP is plugged into. Is it online right now? I would see that information right away. So let's say this access point, bungalow AP number 1. So it's telling me that it's online. It has 12 clients connected. This is the IP address, the MAC, and I would also see where it's plugged into on the switch. So now it's plugged into port 23 of this switch right here. And then from this switch to the other, it goes through ports 25. And then from here to here, ports 26, and so on and so forth. So I'd also know if the AP is powered by PoE based on the color of the cable. I can also see redundancy between my other switches. And soon we'll show the mesh topology as well on the same screen. So in a glance, you would quickly see the network map of the client without having to set it up. So this is done automatically by the system. So other features, basically from our core products, the access points, is on the SSID side. So let me show you guys the different options. So for SSIDs, we have a bunch of security options that are available. So whatever security encryption that the client needs, most likely it's here on our system. Let's say WPA2 or WPA3, the latest encryption. Fast roaming is also here. If the clients want to secure their network from DDoS attacks, they can also do that. So band steering, layer 2 isolation, all those features are here as well. So if let's say the client wants to have our access points act as a DHCP for wireless clients, basically for security, to isolate guests, you can also do that here on the system. So under captive portal options, we have a lot of options as well. Like Nancy went through some of them. We have a click-through. That means they will get a splash page. By the way, this splash page is also customizable. So from here, you can maybe blast a menu if it's a restaurant. If it's a cafe, you can blast maybe promotions on maybe pastries that are available before they proceed. You can also select authentication if you want them to have individual usernames and passwords, which you can pre-configure. If let's say a client has already an existing database, an existing Radius server, maybe it's a hotel, so they have a username and a password for the clients. So we can link to external third-party Radius servers or third-party hotspot gateway providers. So a hotspot gateway provider is basically a user management server, which you can address individual users. Let's say for one user, you want to give them a one-day access with a data cap or something like that. So we can integrate with those types of systems as well. But of course, we also have our own voucher system. So for our voucher system, you can generate different plans for the clients. For example, 1 hour access or 1 day access, 24-hour access, and so on and so forth. And then you can also limit how many client devices can connect using that particular voucher. Let's say you're going to set it to maximum of 5 devices for this voucher, or only one device can use this voucher. You can set it up that way. Now, when you create a voucher, a front desk link would be available as well. So this is for the front desk staff to access. From there, once they access this page, they'll be able to generate the voucher based on the plans you have created. So, for example, for a cafe, she wants to generate 50 vouchers with 1 hour access each for one device. So they'll be able to do that on their side. Social login is also available if you want security for the clients, but don't want any like hassle in setting up specific usernames and passwords. So you can just enable social login. So on the splash page, is going to pop up a Facebook button for them to authenticate. We'll be adding more in the future, such as Google Plus login and other social media logins. So yeah, for the splash page, this one is customizable. Let's say, for example, you want to change the background image. You can just insert one of your backgrounds. Wait, let me go to one project which I have added some pictures just a while. So for example, for this page, I want to deploy this for a coffee shop. So I can change the background. I can add a logo as well. So if you want to resize a picture, you can easily do that from here. By the way, whatever you see on this page would reflect on the actual screen of your client device. So whether it's a laptop or a phone, it would be displayed as is. If you want to remove the logo for white labeling, you can do that as well. But if you want further customizations, you can always do it the traditional way. So you have the HTML field here for editing. Let's say you want to remove the border, you can remove that through HTML as well. So all the text that you can see right here on the screen is fully customizable as well. Let's say you want to change this to something else. Or let's say you want to change the color because it doesn't reflect properly with the background that you selected. You can do that anytime from here as well. So apart from that, you can also do scheduling on your Wi-Fi. Let's say, for example, maybe over the weekend, nobody's in the office. So you can switch your Wi-Fi off to conserve energy. So you can do that as well. Let's say you want your Wi-Fi to be available every day except for the weekends at a certain time frame. You can do that from here. You can also do whitelisting and blacklisting. So currently only blacklisting is available. We'll be adding whitelisting by first week of next month. We'll also be adding a VIP function that works in a way that, let's say, for example, the president of the company walks in, he wants to connect to Wi-Fi. You can pre-whitelist his device so that he doesn't have to authenticate on your network. He'll just automatically be connected. So apart from that, we have the usual options such as firmware upgrades. By the way, the nice thing about firmware upgrades on our system is that you don't have to worry about it because the moment that you add a firmware the moment that you add an access point on your network, the firmware is checked automatically. So you'll be able to know whether something's wrong on your what do you call this? I mean, on the firmware side, you won't have to check whether there's a new firmware available because the system will check that for you. And for firmware upgrades, that can be scheduled from here. So let's say you want the firmware to automatically upgrade every Sunday. Let's say from 2 a.m. where nobody's really using the Wi-Fi network, so you can set it that way. And then from here, the switches can also be scheduled in terms of firmware upgrades. So in terms of multi-tenancy, you can easily add users for your organization. So a while ago, I showed you guys the hierarchy view. So here I have a lot of projects, but actually the project that I own is only one on this list. That's the Singapore office network. So the rest that I can see here means that I have been added as part of their multi-tenancy. But of course, you can create multiple orgs as well. So here, under your multi-tenancy, you can quickly add a person. Let's say you want to add a member of your network. You want to invite them to be an admin. So you just have to key in their email right here, and then select which part of your network you want them to have access to. Is it the whole organization, or is it a particular network from here? Let's say for SG office, I want him to be an admin. For third floor, maybe he has viewer access. It means he can only view it, but he won't be able to do anything. And for the third network, I don't want him to see it. So with this setup, only going to see these two networks, and he's only allowed to have configuration on one of them. So the nice thing about our multi-tenancy is that you'd also be able to track changes on the network through event logs. Let's say somebody changed a particular setting on your device, you'd be able to find that on the system. For example, right here, somebody registered one of the APs, Michael, our technical manager. So he removed one of the APs on the 18th of June. So I can see which AP is that, what's the serial number, and so on and so forth. So configuration changes, SSID changes, if there are, they'd be listed here as well. So it will be easy to track who made a change on what day, on what device, at what time. So all that information would be here. If I'm not mistaken, August, we'll be adding an option to generate reports as well. So when you generate reports on the cloud, you can select different templates. You can select what type of report you want to be produced. Is it for the throughput? Is it for the client statistics, or everything bundled up in a PDF format? So you'll be able to generate that, which would be great for presenting that to your end users. So adding APs is pretty easy. Basically, you just have to register a device using two methods. One is through the EnGenius Cloud application. You can just scan the QR code on the bottom of the unit, and it will be added right away on your network. Or you can manually type in the serial number of your APs on the system. Let's say you're registering like 20, 30, 40 APs in bulk. So you can just paste all the serial numbers from here to quickly add them on your network. If you want to move APs from one network to the other, you can easily do that as well. So you just have to reassign the AP on another network or something. But if you want to move APs from org to org, you're going to have to deregister the device first, because each org here acts independently of each other. So lastly, for support, we have the intercom button here on the side. So you can quickly send a message to support. Let's say, hey, I need help. Or if you need remote access, you can generate a passcode from here. You can select the duration, maybe 1 hour or 7 days. So from there, once you give the passcode, wait, let me generate one. So once you give this passcode to support on the other end, they'll be able to log in your account, and they'll be able to help you further on what's going on. Maybe you're experiencing some offline issues, or you want to know a particular option, what it does, so you can get that information. By the way, the manual can be found here as well. By the way, there's a dark mode option as well, in case you don't want to be blinded first thing in the morning. So the manual is right here. It will give you more insights on the different options on the cloud. So you have your information on security, the hierarchy view, and all that. For the firmware updates, if we release a firmware, the release notes will be available from here as well. So you'll be able to track on the changes that are done. The bug fixes, the new features that have been added, you'd be able to find that all here. Yeah, so if you want to test the EnGenius Cloud, but you don't have a cloud unit with you yet, you can just go to engenius.ai. and you can log on using the EnGenius demo account. So from from the microsite, the EnGenius Cloud microsite, you can just click on demo. And then from there, it would allow you to access our demo page, which has live units and live clients as well. But of course, configuration is not enabled here, so you won't be able to tweak settings. But in case you're interested to navigate, change, check what the EnGenius Cloud has to offer, you can check that from here on the system.